So I'm Joe Della, I'm the software test manager. We've got our industrial design, we've got our hardware, we've got the firmware that runs on that, we've got our mobile app, we've got third-party hardware and firmware and interfaces, we've got the streaming services, we've got analog inputs, digital inputs, network inputs, and then we've got the person who just wants to play some music. And my job is to make sure this all works, so the person just gets on and listens to the music. And the fact that it stays the same today, tomorrow, and a year's time, that it all just works. We're not moving the menus around, changing the colours, or doing anything that might otherwise distract you from just getting on and listening to the music. So there's a lot of groups involved in making that consistent and reliable. So if you go and see your favourite band, you probably don't care what the PA is, who the sound engineer is. Might be a great PA, but if the engineer doesn't work with the band, if he doesn't know the acoustic quirks of the venue, if he doesn't know how to get the best out of the system, then you're going to come away remembering that gig as being the one where it just sounded terrible, no matter how well the band performed. But a good engineer will work with the band, they'll get to know the venue, they'll learn how to use the PA, and so you'll come away thinking, that was a great gig. You won't even know they're there. And the software and the firmware should pretty much be the same as that good engineer. It should just get on with the job of making sure the equipment is delivering the best sound that you want to hear. You shouldn't even know it's there. The first time you set up, you might have your speakers next to the walls or in the corners. That's not going to sound great. You don't want to know about biquads, EQ or DSP. You just want to tell the software, my speakers are here, it does the heavy lifting, everything sounds great. It's a bit like when the singer says, can I have more vocals on the monitor? They don't care what the monitor is, what channel they're on, how many dBs of gain they need. They tell the engineer does the job, and everyone gets the best performance. And that's what we should be doing. Spend a lot of time actually listening to stuff, even on the early days. So when we get our test boards up, we'll also plug them into a whole range of loudspeakers, a whole range of inputs. I've got some Focusrite interfaces that I trust to give a range of inputs and outputs, and likewise if there are issues, I can record them. We've got a known state. But it's very much about what do people do with our systems, how do they set them up. We can't cover every combination, but we try and make sure that we've got most of the use cases that a real person would actually do, as well as catching some of the cases where someone might have a particular awkward setup. There's three basic rules. There's if you didn't test it, it's broken. If you haven't used it, it's unusable. And if you haven't heard it, it sounds terrible. So if we just do those things, we're pretty much getting there. And if we love using the product, there's a fair chance that you're going to love using the product. If you're in the industry, you'd expect us to have oscilloscopes, audio precisions, we've got test jigs, but something might measure brilliantly on an AP, still sound terrible. Doesn't tell you anything about how it is to use. So we spend a lot of our time using the products. Very early on, we get boards, we go to the listening room. We have people using the products all the time. We have people at home using the products. It's all about setting them up, configuring. I spend a lot of time with different inputs, different outputs, different rooms. If there are any pain points, I get to know them pretty quickly. Some years ago, I used to run a recording studio, so I've got access to a library of masters that I know exactly how the artists intended them to sound. Some of those recordings have engineering mistakes or performer mistakes, and if I can still hear them, I know the sound is how it should be, and it's doing a great job. We also have beta testers that are very passionate about hi-fi. Some of our distributors are quite proactive in giving feedback about telling us what we can do to help them get the product up and going as quickly as possible and sounding great.